Hello, this is Vladimir from We Design Motion. Let's create bold grunge titles in After Effects. We'll set this up in a flexible way, so you can reuse it and quickly generate variations when a project needs them. Let's get started. I'll create a new composition and call it Grunge Title. Add a text layer. You can use any font. This effect looks good with both bold and thin options. Let me set the preview quality to full. Rename the layer to text. Let's add a null object. I'll call it Control. Make it orange and turn it off. I'll also lock it on the side because we'll be using it a lot. Add a color control. Call it Text Color. Let's use some white color. Select the text layer and add a fill effect. Alt-click on the color stopwatch and link it to the text color control. Now let's animate the text. Select the text layer, go to Animation, Animate Text, Opacity. Expand the range selector area, go to Advanced, and change the shape to Ramp Down. Also, turn the randomized order on. Go back to the control layer and add a slider control. This one is for the random seed. Let's set it to 100. Alt-click on the random seed stopwatch and link it to the control. I'll also add plus index to the expression. Later, if we duplicate the text, it will get a different seed automatically. Set the opacity to 0. Add an offset keyframe at frame 0 and set it to 100. Go forward 30 frames and set it to -100. Select the both keyframes and press F9 to easy ease them. Let's add a new solid. Call it Displacement Map. Set its color to none. Add a fractal noise effect. Set the contrast to 500, scale width to 10,000, and scale height to 50. Select the control layer and add a point control for the displacement amount. Add one more slider control for the velocity, and one more for the frame rate. Switch back to the displacement map, alt-click on the evolution stopwatch, and type value plus time multiply 5 multiply, and then link to the displacement velocity control. Let's also link the random seed to the corresponding control, just as we did it for the text layer. Now the noise is animated procedurally, without any keyframes, and we control it with our animation velocity control. Let's set it to 45. We definitely want to lower the frame rate for this grunge animation, so let's add a posterized time effect to the map and link to the frame rate control. Set it to 15 for a nice, gritty feel, and adjust it later if you want a cleaner or a rougher look. Select the text layer and add a displacement map effect. Select the displacement map layer and use effects and masks instead of source. Alt-click on the horizontal and vertical displacement stopwatches and link them to the displacement amount control. Make sure to link to a single point of the point control, not to the whole element. Let's set the horizontal value to 0 and the vertical one to 20 for now. Now the text has a nice distortion, but we want to keep its central part untouched. Select the map layer and add a beam effect. Set the colors to gray, because only black and white colors affect the distortion. Adjust the points so that they touch the edges of the screen. Set the length to 100. Alt-click the starting thickness stopwatch. Link to the text layer and type source rected time. You can select it from the list. Inside the parenthesis type time, false, then height divided by 2. With this expression, we set the starting width of the beam to the text layer height divided by 2. Alt-click on the ending thickness stopwatch and simply link it to the starting thickness. Turn on Composite on Original. Now the central part of the text is protected from the displacement, and you can freely change the text size or the font. The beam thickness will be updated automatically because of the expression. Let's add a fast blur effect to the map to smooth it a bit. Let's set it to 2. I'll add one more slider control for the blur amount, and another one for the velocity. Duplicate the map layer and rename it to Blur Map. Let's turn it on for a second. Set the contrast to 800, the brightness to -100, and the scale to 100. Let's also remove the beam effect and increase the blur up to 12. We also need to adjust the evolution to use the blur velocity control in the expression so that we could adjust it separately. Get back to the text layer and add a compound blur effect. Select the blur map, turn on effects and masks, and link the maximum blur parameter to the blur amount control. Let's set the amount to 15 and the velocity to 30 for now. Let's take a look. So far so good. There is some nice grunge distortion happening out there. Add another control to the control layer. This one is for the noise amount. Select the text layer and add a noise alpha effect. Set the noise to uniform animation. Then link the amount to the corresponding control. Let's set it to 10. Set the original alpha to edges. Alt-click on the noise phase stopwatch and type time multiply 1000. Let's increase the value up to 20. We want the text reveal to have the same frame rate as the distortion and the blur, so let's just copy the posterized time effect to the text layer. Let's add an animated texture. You can download this texture from the link in the description. Make sure to import it as a sequence. If we drop it to the timeline, we'll see it's only 30 frames long. Let's loop it. Select the texture in the Project tab, go to Interpret Footage, Main, then adjust the loop value. Now we can extend it up to the end of the timeline. Right now, the texture changes every frame, but we want it to hold for about 6 or 7 frames. So let's add a posterized time effect. Set it to 7. Much better. Add another control on the control layer. Let's rename it to Texture. Set it to 50. We want to control the texture intensity, so let's add a tint effect to it. Set both colors to white. Alt-click on the amount stopwatch, link it to the texture control, and type 100- right before the value. Now we can adjust the texture intensity within the 0 and 100 values. Select the text layer and add a Set Matte effect. Choose the texture as the matte layer, select Effects and Masks from the drop-down menu, and use Luminance instead of Alpha. Now we have a nice, subtle, animated grunge texture on top of the text. You can use any font, adjust the distortion and blur, and play with the randomness to get different results each time. Working this way just makes things easier, especially when deadlines are tight. Instead of rebuilding the same title effect over and over, you can tweak a few controls and quickly get a new version. By the way, if you want more ready-to-use templates built in the same way, take a look at the Ultimate Motion Freebie. It's a free pack for After Effects and Premiere Pro designed to save time, with flexible controls and unique visuals. You'll find the link in the description. Don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials. Thanks for watching, and happy creating!